So we are in Upper Michigan, and ever since we started planning our trip, Mackinac Island has been probably in my top 5 places that I wanted to go. Don't even know how I even came to know about Mackinac Island, but I have wanted to go. And took the ferry over, and we took the 9 o'clock ferry because the earlier ferries didn't go under the bridge, and we wanted to give Carson the view from under the bridge.
Carson, where are we going today?
We're going on a boat.
Going on a boat.
Our matey.
One of those boats over there.
It was very windy. Ended up being an absolutely gorgeous day, so we really enjoyed the island. To take the ferry over, dock, and then we get off the boat, and we had ferried our bikes over as well, and it basically just dumps you off in Main Street. We were told that once we get there, we should go check in with the carriage ride place to kind of reserve our time slot. So Carson and I roll up, we stand in line, Mike rolls up behind us. You know, he's taking some pictures all around, parks his bike, comes over, talks to Carson and I. We get ready to go for our bike ride. He turns around. He's like,
No bike! Who stole my bike? Somebody stole my bike!
so we don't know if you know this or not, but Mackinac Island does not allow any vehicles. It is only bike traffic. And we didn't know this right away, but the curbs are actually painted with yellow and white markings. So if it's a yellow area, you cannot park your bike there. So what does Mike do?
I just roll up to the curb, put
like,
the kickstand down.
There's no bikes here. It looks like a good spot. So we have a brief moment of panic, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Your bike is right there. Somebody had moved it for him. But we set off around the island. It's 8.2 miles around the island. We contemplated whether or not we wanted to pull Carson behind us, get a bike trailer. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we knew we had about 2 hours to make it around the island and thought, why not? We'll give it a shot. And she did amazing. So she pedaled her little heart out. And she definitely earned the nap that she got on the carriage ride later in the day.
Awesome. Look, there's a bench. And for all you homeschoolers out there, that's considered class time. We're out. You did 8 miles around Mackinac Island. You did awesome. Good job, baby.
So we did the bike ride. It is gorgeous out there. The water, I mean, you can't even really describe it. It looks like Caribbean waters. You're biking around the island. It just is turquoise and light blue. It's so clear. You can see down to the rocks, you know, right there on the shore. It is gorgeous up there.
It's fairly flat. Pretty easy ride.
Around the outside is fairly flat. The inside, you know, can get some
inside,
pretty steep hills. We want to go back when we don't have Carson so that we can really do all the hiking and do all the biking that there is available out on the island. We had lunch at a really nice restaurant.
So we're over on Mackinac Island with the opportunity to have a brunch at Hotel Iroquois. We just finished an 8-mile bike ride. Carson did the whole thing on her little toddler bike. She did an amazing job.
Had a beautiful outdoor patio area. And then did some shopping along Main Street. Cute little, you know, souvenir shops. It's obviously known for their fudge. Mackinac fudge is very famous up there. So we sampled a few shops and their different fudge. And Mike everywhere we go has to get ice cream, so we got some ice cream, and then we did a carriage ride. It was money well spent, I think, to do the carriage ride. We had a great tour guide. He was actually born and raised on the island, so he knew just a ton of history. You know, he had stories to tell. He was a very interesting guy.
Yeah, again, my name is John, but that doesn't matter much for an hour or more until we get to Hard Rock. The real stars of the show are out front here. On the left, that horse's name is Hanson, and on the right is Heaven. Now we're coming onto the grounds of the Grand Hotel. The Grand Hotel was opened in 1887 with 183 rooms, but the tourism business was starting. People recognized the natural beauty of the place and also the fresh air.
Carriage ride was a nice break from all the activity that we had done like earlier in the day. Carson was exhausted, so it was just a great place for her just to take a nap. She laid across our laps, and we got to see parts of the island that we wouldn't necessarily have seen, you know, with Carson. So definitely recommend doing the carriage ride if it's your first time over on Mackinac Island. Once we got off the carriage ride, we took our bikes and biked back up to the Grand Hotel. I had come across a picture in my grandparents' scrapbook where they had come to Mackinac Island in probably the 70s.
Probably 100 years ago.
Yeah, we picked, you know, we kind of positioned ourselves and got Grandma and Grandpa's picture next to our picture. So one of the days that we were in Mackinac, we decided to go a little bit further south to Sheboygan, and we ended up getting in a conversation with a local there, and really just enlightened us to all the things that there were to do in northern Michigan, stuff that wasn't even on our radar. And one of the things that he recommended was Tequamamin Falls. And so we looked it up on the map. We had thought about trying to pull the camper up there because we were going to be going through the UP. It just wasn't going to be possible. So we just decided to make it a day trip. It's about an hour and a half away from Mackinac City. Definitely worth the drive. So Tequamamin Falls, they have an upper falls and a lower falls. The lower falls had a line like coming out the drive, so we decided to go do the upper falls first. It's a beautiful hike, but it had crazy steps.
Oh,
it was 94 steps, I think, at that.
It was 170 something.
A lot of steps.
It was a lot of steps.
We'll go back and count for you.
And it goes down like this.
You definitely have to be in shape to do all those steps. But again, it was a beautiful day, and we really just enjoyed the hike. Then we came back, and the lower falls, you know, had emptied out a little bit, so we did the lower falls as well. Lower falls, you can take a boat from kind of the land side over to the island, so you can see all 5 of the lower falls. We decided not to do that. It was getting a little bit later in the day for us, so we walked around the water and got to see 2 of the falls, I think, just by doing the walk around. These are the lower falls.
And this is Daddy. Huh.
Daddy. You can take a boat if you want to. I don't know how much it is, but it's just like a little rowboat. Somebody rows you over to the
Oh, I think you row yourself, because some of them dudes are struggling. They look
They're
like
going
they're
in
paddling in circles. They couldn't figure it
I
out.
don't know if there's an option or not, but you know, we opted not to do that part of the falls. But it was a good day trip, and we were up and back probably, you know, about 6 hours.
See all this mud down there? Water makes mud. See, we did not want to ship in mud. That's why. All the lights.
Oh, this one, huh?
Oh,
What's it called again?
shift gun.
Super gun. Let me see.
See, you shift the gun. I can cut trees or kill bad guys.
Kill bad guys. Yeah, killing bad guys.
So it's called a shift gun like this.
How do you say it?
You do this like this. Choo.
There you go. Rapid fire.
They had also mentioned that we should do Pictured Rock. Pictured Rock was too far for just a day trip, and we just couldn't fit in our schedule. So we, you know, if we go back, that's something that we'll definitely try to put in our next visit out there. There's just so many things to see out there. It really is beautiful. Yeah. So the campground that we stayed at was Mackinac Mill Campground, and they have done a fantastic job at that campground. Most campgrounds that have waterfront actually have camper sites right on the water. So unless you have one of those front row spots, you don't even get a view of any of the water. Well, Mackinac Mill, they set aside the whole waterfront area so that everybody in the park can enjoy it. The first row of campers is actually on the opposite side of the car path. They have fire pits down there, swings, and it looks out like you can see the Mackinac Bridge to one side. If you look straight across, you can see Mackinac Island. They did fireworks on Saturday night.
Yeah, not Friday night. We stayed up till 10 o'clock one night waiting for the fireworks, which we found out was actually on Saturday night.
On Saturday night. But we were there for 2 Saturday nights, so we actually missed it the first one, got to see the second one. So, but really cool campground. They have putt-putt, they have a pool. What else? I mean, they have a really nice camp store, firewood. They have bike rentals there, so if you don't have a bike and want to rent a bike from that campground, you can actually ride into town, or you can take the bike and take it over to Mackinac Island. And then there's a shuttle that actually comes from the ferry to the campground and picks you up, and that's free to use that amenity as well. Just tons of kids. You know, that grassy area out by the water was really a gathering spot for a lot of families. And we made some really good friends there.
Yeah, so as we were riding around, Carson is always looking for little girls to play with, and you know, in the distance in that little grassy area, she spots these 2 little girls, and instantly she's like, I want to go make friends. I want to go make friends. And we're like, all right, let's go. You know, so we go over, we park the bikes. Carson takes off, you know, just a little social butterfly. She starts talking to these 2 little girls, and they come over to their dads, and really the first gentleman that we and I'll call him a gentleman because he truly was a gentleman, was Pete, and very friendly. And then, you know, here comes his buddy Brian. Just come to find out, I mean, they're just really cool guys. And after about, I don't know, just 5, 10, 15 minutes of talking, they were like, hey, y'all want to come over and hang out with us? And so
Call the round, Tommy.
Bye, guys. Enjoy your ride.
Give her thumbs up, girls.
Don't be scared.
and it just really just kicked off from there. You know, the girls played and had a great time, and the guys sat around and talked, and the girls sat around and talked, and you know, so Lynn took Carson back to the camper, and you know, so I was like, well, I'm gonna hang out with these guys for a little while and just, you know, just chit chat. Well, after about I don't know, what we thought was 30 minutes to an hour, Needless to say, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Next night basically was a repeat of the night prior, but the second night, Lynn didn't question me being out as that late. The first night, because we just met these folks, they were. She thought that maybe they'd kidnap me and taken me to their cabin.
I thought that Mike is dismembered somewhere in a swamp, and I was gonna have to like hook the truck up and pull the camper home myself.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing about campgrounds is like you make friends and they just become fast friends. Because
Yes.
these were just great people. We enjoyed their company. The girls got along great.
So kind of a spoiler alert. If we're going to fast forward real quickly into, I don't know, it's probably the next 1 or 2 videos to come. But we're going to come back around to Pete, Megan, and Brian and Aaron, and we're going to get back to them.
So we're completely hooked up, ready to leave Mackinac City. And we're very diligent about doing our inspection checklist before we leave. And so thankful that we do, because today we were literally ready to roll. Mike did one more walk around the rig and noticed that we have a bulging tire. So hopefully our TPMS would have caught it, but we're gonna go ahead and change it out before we get rolling this morning.
When we started this journey, I wanted to make sure that we were prepared. So instantly I go grab my 20-ton jack. So I get it under the axle there, bring it up, choke the tire, loosen the lug nuts, and with the Milwaukee half-inch impact driver, $300 something. But I look like a pit crew at the Indy 500. I was like, whoop, 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 whoop. Hit all 8 of those lug nuts, came right off. Pulled the tire off, got the spare down, put it back on. Because I had the right tools, I had a better peace of mind. So we left Mackinac City, headed over the bridge. So we went from Trolls to Yoopers. That is evidently a big thing in Michigan. And we went to Van Ripper State Park, which is on the west side of Marquette. We saw some cool things as we were driving through Marquette. A few little tourist trap things. It is really pretty up here in the UP. And then we came back to Marquette one afternoon to hike around Presque Isle. It was really, just a good afternoon to get out of the camper. It was sunny. Hiked partway out to the lighthouse before Mike lost his mind and made us turn around. Oh yeah, tell them that story. Real quick. So Carson, the way out to the lighthouse, there are huge boulders. So it's not just like a walkway. You have to hop from rock to rock to rock. I'm like, oh, this looks like a lot of fun. Carson's having a blast. I'll just hold her hand. Carson gets a little too confident on our walk out to the lighthouse, and she just jumps into oblivion. Thank God I had a hold of her hand, because she took me down and took her down, and luckily I had her by one hand. Once Mike saw that, our trip to the lighthouse.
No, it would have been a definitely 911 situation, and my anxieties were through the roof. If you know me, we cancel that.
We turned around.
We're going back
really quickly. We stuck to the land after that.
Yes.
But again, I mean, that was Lake Michigan or Lake Erie. I don't even know. It is like every coastline up there is gorgeous. I think we've seen 3 of the Great Lakes so far. They're running together as well. Just a beautiful shoreline. What are we doing today?
We're going on a hike.
On the hike?
Yeah.
Do you know where we are?
We're at Michigan.
Michigan. Has Michigan been really pretty?
Oh, yeah.
What's been your favorite thing to do in Michigan?
Yeah, I guess so.
What's been your favorite thing? Friends,
Friends.
playgrounds,
Playground.
bikes, bike rides.
Bike ride.
We have done it all.
Yeah.